Welcome to It's a Good Sandwich. And today we are going to me and Christy are going to be making one of our family favorites. And if you know our family, then you've probably had our tapioca pudding. We've had lots of people ask us all the time, how do you make tapioca pudding? And it is a family, it's a family recipe that goes back a long ways. And it's called Minute Tapioca Pudding. And so we are going to follow the instructions for Minute Tapioca right to the rule. And today we're going to actually quadruple the batch. Our family likes it and we like to share tapioca pudding, and we know a lot of people who like tapioca pudding. So if you're going to make it, we just make a lot of it. So today we're going to quadruple the recipe, but the recipe is 1 egg, 2 cups of milk, 3 tablespoons of tapioca, 6 tablespoons of sugar, but divided, meaning that 3 of those we're going to put in with the milk and the other ones we're going to whip, and then we put some vanilla in at the end. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the milk in, Christy. So grab that. If we're going to quadruple batch it, we're going to need a whole ½ gallon. So let's put all of that in. All right. And we're going to put in our 4 eggs. Okay, and we're going to put in our 12 tablespoons of tapioca, very carefully so we don't spill it. All right. And we're going to put in 12 tablespoons of sugar, which is half of what's going to be required. And then we're going to get our whisk and we're going to whisk it up a little bit, all right? We want that mixture to be mixed up just a little bit, particularly the eggs. We want to make sure those eggs are all whipped. And then we want to get the sugar and the tapioca mixed up a little bit so that it's not totally clumped up right now. We want to get it mixed in as best we can. It's kind of a 2-process piece. My dad, he used to make what they call on the recipe, it says just plain tapioca pudding. And it's a little bit different recipe, but it's very simple. You put all the ingredients in and you cook it and it's done. My mom, she makes fluffy tapioca pudding, which is what we're going to make today. And it's a little bit more work because you have to whip the eggs and make them into like a meringue and then add them back into the pudding. And for us, we prefer that recipe. So that's the one we're going to be making today. So let me just see how that's coming around there. I think we're going to be pretty well have this mixed up well enough. Okay. So we're going to move it over to let's get all of the eggs in that. All right. And we're going to move over to the oven. Okay, so we've moved the mixture over to the stovetop and we're cooking on a little bit more than medium. We want to cook it kind of slow. You don't want it to burn, and it'll burn fast when it burns. So you do not want to burn it. So we're going to cook it slow so we can control it. And it's important to just kind of gradually stir it. Keep always touching the bottom, keeping anything that's sticking on the bottom from sticking. So just keep stirring, and we're going to take it all the way to a boil. And at that point, we will add our meringue to it. Okay, so while Christy is stirring the mixture, we're going to start mixing up the meringue. And so anyways, we have our egg whites, because we separated our eggs, and we kept the whites. And we are going to start whipping these eggs. So in the recipe it says that the sugar should be divided. Well, we put half of it into the milk, and the rest of it, the other 12 tablespoons, or 3 tablespoons per recipe, is going to go into the meringue. So anyways, so we're going to start whipping. Okay, and when we whip our eggs, we are going to just gradually add the sugar to it, little bit at a time.
and we want to do it. We want to whip this after we get all of our sugar in. We're going to whip it until it is a stiff peaks, meaning that it'll stand on its own basically. And it usually takes a couple minutes for that to happen.
Okay, so we have been whipping our egg whites for, it's been a little more than 2 minutes, but probably like 4 or 5 minutes. And here's what they look like. You can kind of see they are stiff peaked. As you look in there, you can see they're nice and thick. So anyways, that part is ready to go. So as soon as Christy is done with her part, then we'll add this to the milk mixture. So Christy's been over here stirring this, doing a real good job keeping everything off the bottom. It's getting really close at this point. You can see we are really close to for it to start boiling. And at that point, you really have to stir it a lot to make sure that nothing sticks to the bottom. Very important. And it is getting really close. You have to be careful depending on when it starts to boil. It'll want to boil completely over your pan. Okay, we're going to let it boil for just a second. We're going to turn the heat down, completely off. You can see how it wants to raise a lot, and we're going to pull it off because it is pretty much at a full boil. All right. So now we are going to add the vanilla. And the vanilla, yeah, it smells good, doesn't it, Christy? It already smells like tapioca. Okay, the recipe says 1 teaspoon, but because we are quadruple batching it, we're going to put in 4. And our 4th one, there we have it. At this point, I'm going to have Christy start whipping that up real good. Okay, just get that vanilla mixed in.
There's even chunks like it.
Yep. Now when we start putting the egg whites in, okay, it says to fold it in, okay? So we are going to get this whipped up good. Okay? I like to get this off of my beater. All right. So you just keep folding it in, okay? As I put it in there. You have to kind of keep it stirring all the time because the eggs are cooking as you put it in there from the meringue. So it's important to keep stirring all the time. Take it off the bottom. Keep it going off the bottom. Okay. About got all of this in. And this is all the good stuff right here. This is, it just looks good, doesn't it, Christy?
Yes.
Smells good. Smells just, oh yeah, just smell that. All that good, delicious tapioca. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Go over here and take a look at it, Kel. You can see there's it's not smooth. There's kind of some chunks in it. That's the meringue, but we will now, you could eat it right now. It's delicious hot, just gonna burn your tongue a little bit. But we like it chilled. So we're gonna put it in the fridge and let it cool for a couple of hours at least. And then it'll be ready. It's best to cover it. We're gonna put a little saran wrap on top of it, and if you You can stir it occasionally, but it's not necessary when it's in the fridge. It is going to be ready to eat. So once you put it in the fridge, when you pull it out in a couple hours, you can start eating, depending on how cool you want it or how warm you want it. So obviously with a single batch, it would cool much faster. With the quadruple batch, it's going to take a little longer. So anyways, we're going to really enjoy this tapioca today, aren't we, Christy? And thanks for watching. It's a good sandwich.
No, pink. I got my ice cream.